Benvenuto nella mia cucina. Welcome back to my kitchen in Italian, which is very fitting because today we're going to be making a traditional Italian Christmas cookie that is literally to die for. Maybe not to die for, but very close. And I already have my wine handy because cooking with wine is fun. If you're Italian, you probably like to cook with wine. If you're human, you probably like to cook with wine. And 2020 has been a crap year, so just pour up. So this is gonna be the first year that I'm not gonna be with my family, any of them really, for Christmas, and it's just gonna be Sydney and I. So I know I'm gonna struggle with that a little bit. I know there's probably a lot of you out there that are gonna have a very different holiday season, and just to get myself through it and maybe to get you through it, I figured let's make the most traditional recipes that remind us of family and comfort and peace. And we're about 2 weeks away from Christmas, so I'm gonna be putting out a lot of videos of like my favorite comfort food that is very carb and just full of all the happiness. So we're gonna start today with these Italian ricotta cookies. And this is like an Italian style cream cheese, and we don't bake with it a lot here in the States, but when you do, it will give you the best, most moist, light desserts ever. And these are a staple. They're very easy, they're very good, and they're something that you should try because this year needs more things like this in it. So let's go ahead and go over what you're gonna need to make these Italian ricotta cookies. Okay, first things first. Love it. Okay, we're gonna go over the ingredients. Sorry if my head is cut off. I really don't have a good camera stand here, and I want y'all to be able to see the ingredients as I lift them up. So let's go ahead and go over what you're gonna need to make these delicious cookies. So right here, it's like really softened butter, and this is about a cup of butter. It is a cup of butter, so 2 sticks of butter. And then we have eggs in this bowl. I don't have any clear bowls, and that was something I put on my wedding registry because making these videos, I need clear bowls where you can see, but there's eggs in there. And here we have flour, all-purpose flour and cake flour. I'll go over that in a little bit. Then we have, of course, the star of the cookies, the ricotta. You can find this anywhere pretty much. You just want to be sure that you do the whole milk. Do not do the skim milk. It's molto importante that you get the whole milk ricotta. Then we have vanilla extract, almond extract, sugar, of course, and then salt, baking powder, baking soda. And then for the icing that we'll go over a little bit later, you'll need lemon, confectioner's sugar, and then the topping, traditionally, it is with rainbow sprinkles, but because it's Christmas time, I have these little green and red ones that I'm gonna put on them because I think they'll be really cute for a picture. So, pretty sure I went over everything. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, first things first, I put the sugar in a mixing bowl, and now I'm gonna add my butter. Just kidding. Now I'm gonna add my very softened butter directly with the sugar. And really what you wanna do is mix this really well for like 5 minutes. You could use a mixer, but honestly, these cookies are really easy to work with by hand, and not everybody has a mixer, so I just figured, let's do it for the people. This is going to be what it looks like after it has been beaten for about 5 to 7 minutes, and it's very light, and that's what you want because that's going to be what helps it stay that way after we bake it. Next step is going to be to add our vanilla and almond extract. So we're going to do about a teaspoon of each. If you didn't like almond flavoring, you could leave that out, but I actually love it, and I think it goes really well with this cookie. And I'm gonna do about a little over a half a teaspoon for the almond. Like that, right? We're gonna mix this together before we move on to our next step. Oh my gosh, that almond smells so good. The next thing that we want to do is add our eggs one at a time, mixing well in between both. So there's one egg. And you could use a whisk if you want to. Mix them all in really well before you move on to the next one. So the next thing that we're gonna do is add in our baking soda, baking powder, and our salt. You wanna do about a teaspoon of each. And this is a half a teaspoon that I'm using, so that's why I'm doing two. And about a heaping half teaspoon of salt. Now we're gonna mix this in and then get to our flour. I told you that we would be talking about our flour situation. So in here, I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 cup of cake flour. And I feel like that just gives the cookies a little bit more of like a cakey bite, which I personally like. If you didn't have cake flour, don't go out and buy it. You could just do 4 cups of all-purpose flour. But in here, I did the 3 cups of all-purpose, 1 cup of cake flour, and it does make a difference. I'm going to sift the flour as it goes in here. So I'm gonna put a little bit in my sifter, and this just helps any clumps in the flour not to be in a cookie. And then just sift it. And then mix this flour in, do the next process, I guess. I can do it over and over and over until you're out of flour. Okay, I had to put it in a bigger bowl because it was gonna be too messy to try to do the next step in that small bowl. So now that we've completely incorporated our flour, I just wanna show you what it looks like. It looks like a sugar cookie dough. So it's a little bit thicker right now, but that's where the ricotta comes into play. And we're gonna do a pound of it, just right in. And the difference with this is at room temperature, by the way. And you don't want to mix it in, so we're going to switch back to the folding method and fold in the ricotta, and that's going to be what keeps it really light and fluffy as it bakes. You don't want to deflate the ricotta, otherwise it just kind of defeats the purpose. So then to fold, you just want to cut the batter in half and fold it in, and you just do the same until it's completely incorporated. Spinning your bowl, that way you get everything. Set it aside for a little bit. I'm gonna clean up and then prepare our cookie sheet, and I'll meet you back here and we'll talk about the next step. How to get a sip of my wine. I have lined a cookie sheet with parchment paper. That will just help the cookies from sticking, and it makes a big difference. So now I'm gonna take our cookie dough here, and if you have like a cookie scoop or an ice cream scoop, that would work better, but I don't have one. So I'm gonna use 2 spoons and just kind of like put it on my spoon, kind of form like a ball, and put it on my cookie sheet. And I'm gonna do all of these, and by using the spoon method, you get even sizes pretty much all the way through. So first batch is ready to go in the oven, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes depending on your oven, and once I take them out, I'll show you what to look for. Okay y'all, so the cookies are cooling out of the oven on a rack, and we're gonna go ahead and work on the icing while that happens. This is very simple, very easy. I have my confectioner sugar in a bowl here, and I have 1 lemon, and then I have some vanilla, and I'm gonna kind of press on my lemon, get it all juicy. Just take a little bit of lemon juice, not a lot, you don't want it to be overpowering, and then a little bit of vanilla, just a splash. And then we're gonna take a little bit of water. Now you just kind of want to measure this as you go, and you just want to make a glaze with it, like a really thin glaze. Now we're going to continue with the process. Okay, you guys, moment of truth. They're not completely cooled. They're normally better after they set. Just want to show you what, like, they're like a cake. Spongy like a cake, it's light like a cake, but it's a cookie. So let's taste it. You know, honestly, the lemon is what sets the cookie like over the top with the icing. It's the perfect amount of lemon, so like it really kind of balances through the richness of the cookie. Even though it's really light, like that acidity is so perfect. And the texture, you guys, the texture is unbeatable. And if you didn't want to do the glaze, you could always drizzle on like some chocolate or something like that, and that would be really good. It would go really well with the almond, but it's so good. Okay, you guys. I put the recipe in like a little cute slide on the video somewhere. So screenshot it, try it. These are a hit. Put your spin on them. If you don't want to do a glaze, do chocolate or do nothing. Honestly, they're really good. But try this, let me know what you think, and I'll see you with another video.